There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. This is one of the key quotes I would use when talking about King Duncan, linking to the theme of appearance versus reality, and talking, about treachery, dramatic irony, and deception. So it's spoken by King Duncan, Act 1, Scene 4, and this is said when he is talking about the previous Thane of Cawdor who had betrayed him and who has now been killed, he's just been informed, for being a traitor. Now he's saying basically, there's no way of knowing somebody's true intentions. There's no way of knowing if somebody is lying to you from how they present themselves to you. Their outward appearance, how they look. You can never tell what's going on, the inner workings of man's mind, right? The irony being, and we're going to say dramatic irony here is the technique, because Macbeth has just, with Banquo, been given the prophecies from the witches, and the fact that he will be a king, immediately his mind sets to work and he thinks, well, if I'm going to be a king, then I need to get rid of King Duncan. And he realizes, well, if I'm going to get rid of King Duncan, then it's going to have to be regicide, murder, right? And at that point, in his mind, he says that this thought to kill a king murder yet is fantastical. It's not real. This idea of murder that's in his mind, it's just a figment of his imagination. And he describes how it gives him this severe physical reaction, like it makes his heart beat really rapidly and it makes his hair stand on end. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, it's not an exact quote, but he hates the idea of it, this notion that he'll have to murder the king. But he has shared this idea that, oh gosh, I'm going to have to kill the king. And then the very next scene, Act 1, Scene 4, we have King Duncan saying, you just can't tell what's in anyone's mind, can you? And immediately, as soon as he has said this, enters Macbeth on stage, with the audience knowing, yeah, if only you could tell what was just in that guy's mind, that you're next, this now Thane of Cawdor, he's just been given that title. And the previous Thane of Cawdor was a traitor, and now we've got this Thane of Cawdor, Macbeth, who is thinking treacherous thoughts of regicide. So we've got that sense of dramatic irony. What a wonderful stage direction. The fact that as soon as the king says this, bam, there's Macbeth, right? This would not have been lost on the audience at all. Now, what else can we say to explode this quote? What else can we see in this? There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. There's no skill required. There's no learning required to know this. You just can't tell. It's not a skill to be able to tell what's being constructed. Now, the idea of the mind constructing, this is almost like the mind has been personified as an architect or a builder, perhaps. We could say there's a bit of personification going on there. Perhaps we can say, if you can't really read the face, you can't find the mind's construction in the face, that it's almost like metaphorically, the face is like a book that you can read, or a window that you can look into, or a painting, a surface that can be read, analysed, understood, but you can't, basically. And also this links back to that lovely theme of appearance versus reality. There are so many key quotes in this play where the notion of be something else, hide your true desires, look like the innocent flower, be the serpent under it, be one thing, seem to be one thing, but yet be another. This motive, again, keeps being repeated over and over, like this flip side duality of humanity, this notion of deceiving, seemingly good, but underneath, your actual intentions, your actual desires are base and sinful and evil. Right, so we've got the dramatic irony, we've got the sense of the mind being personified as an architect. We have this notion of King Duncan being too trustworthy a leader. Yes, he is a king. Yes, he is sat in his rightful place in accordance with the great chain of being, right? He's God ordained. He is ordained by God. However, at the beginning of the play, we have the battle and we have had the traitor Thane of Cawdor. And the fact that the king is too trusting, too nice, the fact that he is not especially politically savvy means that he is going to be betrayed. He hasn't been able to think and assume, as you should, that actually my position might be under threat here. I can't just assume that all of my subjects are loyal and happy for me to be in this position. I have to be able to read between the lines, to infer, to see that man might not be just as he appears to be. And that is where his great weakness is as a ruler, right? He's too nice, he's not politically savvy. He doesn't have this concept that man or his subjects can be what they purport not to be, right? Later on, very quickly, touching upon Malcolm, he is actually a lot more clever. A lot more clever? He is more clever. Oh my goodness. He is a lot more politically savvy than his father. He's not so trusting. We've already seen this when he is testing Macduff. So he doesn't automatically assume that people are good and that they're loyal and they're trustworthy. And that's why he is a much better leader. Right, is there anything else I want to say? Yes, there is. Now, the fact that Shakespeare has King Duncan say this, I wonder. Now, I've not read this anywhere. I don't know if it's been sort of maybe examined elsewhere. You have to check this out for yourself. But I wonder if this is Shakespeare giving a little nod to King James and sort of flattering him a little bit. Because King James I, obviously we all know, everyone knows this play was written for him and that Shakespeare really wanted to flatter the king, and also the king was sponsoring it and yada yada yada. Anyway, King James I had already had, as we all know, the gunpowder plots. That group, I nearly said League of Traitors, anyway, the group of traitors, it'd been discovered they were trying to blow up the Houses of Parliament to kill the king because of religion, because King James was Protestant and he hated the Catholics. Anyway, that was not the only plot against him. There was also something called the Bye plot, B-Y-E, which sounds amazing, like bye King James. No, it does not that kind of bye, even though it's written the same. It meant subplots, if you like, not the main plot. This is like a secondary plot. There was another plot as well. I can't remember the name of it now. I'm so sorry, it escapes my brain. He had 3 quite significant plots against him around the time Macbeth was written, just before. So King James, not very popular, had annoyed a lot of people. There was this schism with religion. It was very turbulent, the times in which he was a ruler. Not everybody was loyal to the king. There were a lot of traitors. Now, he was also called the wisest fool in Christendom, like the most stupid, clever man in all of Christianity. He was known to be a bit of a... He wasn't very financially clever. He didn't make good financial decisions when he was a ruler. And again, just like Duncan, he was not politically savvy. And he had all these plots against him, which he was completely unaware of. So perhaps Shakespeare is sort of in this line that he's given to King Duncan, saying, you just can't tell, you know. You just don't know if somebody's a traitor. Perhaps Shakespeare is saying to King James, you weren't to know. Of course, even a king who is ordained by God and in this wonderful kingly omniscient position, even you, King James, how were you to know? Oh my goodness, you're not so silly. How are you to know? You can't read people's faces. Anyway, I just wonder if he's trying to reassure or flatter the king even more, this wisest fool of Christendom, who had these people who were seeking to depose, kidnap, and kill him. So there we go. There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face.